Welcome to Behind the Veiled Truth. I'm thrilled to dive into the fascinating world of persuasion, where human psychology meets the art of influence. Imagine a bustling marketplace of ideas where every interaction is a subtle dance of convincing and connecting. Whether it's a salesperson closing a deal, a politician rallying a crowd, or even a cult leader weaving a spell, the principles of persuasion are the invisible strings pulling at our decisions. These principles, famously outlined by psychologist Robert Cialdini, are like psychological cheat codes, universal, powerful, and rooted in how our brains are wired. Let's unpack the six key principles of persuasion: reciprocity, commitment, and consistency, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity, in a way that's as gripping as a courtroom drama or a high stakes negotiation. Reciprocity, the art of give and take. Picture this: you're at a friend's house and they offer you a slice of homemade cake. You savor it, and suddenly you feel a twinge of obligation to invite them over next week. That's reciprocity at work, a primal instinct hardwired into our social brains. As a behavioral psychologist, I'd say it's rooted in our evolutionary need to build cooperative communities. If I share my food today, you'll share yours tomorrow, ensuring our survival. In forensic context, reciprocity can be a manipulator's tool. Think of a con artist offering a small gift to a mark, maybe a free consultation or a token of goodwill. That gift creates a psychological debt, making the victim more likely to comply with bigger requests, like investing in a scam. In marketing is why free samples at Costco make you feel compelled to buy that giant box of granola bars. The trick, the gift doesn't have to be big, just meaningful enough to trigger that urge to give back. Example, in a famous study, waiters who gave diners a single mint with the bill saw a 3% increase in tips. Those who gave 2 mints, a whopping 14% increase. The act of giving, even something small, flips a switch in our brains, making us want to reciprocate. Two, commitment and consistency, the power of staying true. Humans are obsessed with being consistent. It's like our minds crave a tidy storyline. Once we commit to something, whether it's a belief, a goal, or even a small action, we'll bend over backward to align our behavior with it. As a behavioral psychologist, I see this as a cognitive shortcut. Consistency saves mental energy by keeping our actions predictable, but it's also a persuader's playground. In forensic psychology, this principle explains why people stay in toxic situations like cults or abusive relationships. Once someone publicly commits, say, by pledging loyalty or making a sacrifice, they feel pressure to stay consistent even when the situation turns dark. Interrogators use this too. Getting a suspect to admit to a small detail can lead them to confess more to align with that initial admission. In everyday life, marketers exploit this with the foot in the door technique. Agree to a small request like signing up for a free trial, and you're more likely to commit to a bigger one like a paid subscription. Why? Because saying yes once makes it harder to say no later. Example, in a classic experiment, homeowners who agreed to display a small drive safely sign were later far more likely to agree to a massive billboard in their yard. That tiny initial commitment shaped their future choices like a snowball rolling downhill. Three, social proof. Following the crowd. Ever wonder why people clap after a plane lands smoothly, or why a restaurant with a long line feels more appealing than an empty one? That's social proof, the idea that we look to others to decide what's right, especially when we're unsure. As a behavioral psychologist, I point to our evolutionary roots. If the tribe was running from a predator, you better run too, no questions asked. In forensic settings, social proof can explain mob mentality or why innocent people confess under group pressure. Picture a lineup where witnesses pick the suspect everyone else is pointing to, even if they're unsure. On the flip side, social proof powers positive change. Think of anti-smoking campaigns showing everyone's quitting to nudge behavior. Marketers love this. Online reviews, trending labels, or Instagram influencers flaunting a product all scream, "Others are doing it, so should you." It's why you're more likely to binge a Netflix show if everyone's tweeting about it. Example, in a hotel study, signs urging guests to reuse towels worked best when they read, "Most guests in this room reuse their towels." That specific social proof, knowing others like you are doing it, boosted compliance by 33%. 4. Authority. Trust in the expert. We're wired to obey authority figures, doctors in white coats, police in uniforms, or even influencers with a verified badge. As a forensic psychologist, I've seen how authority can be weaponized. In interrogations, a detective's confident demeanor or official title can pressure suspects into compliance, sometimes falsely. In cults, leaders cloak themselves in authority, spiritual, intellectual, or otherwise, to command loyalty. From a behavioral lens, authority works because it's a mental shortcut. We assume experts know best, saving us the effort of questioning. But this can backfire. Think of the Milgram experiments, where people delivered shocks to others simply because a lab coated scientist told them to. In Persuasion, authority is why ads feature doctors endorsing toothpaste or celebrities pushing crypto. Even a title like doctor or a flashy suit can make someone seem more credible, whether they deserve it or not. Example, in a study, a man crossing the street against a red light was followed 35 times more often when he wore a suit than casual clothes. The suit screamed authority and people followed without thinking. Liking, the power of connection. We're more likely to say yes to people we like, those who share our vibe, flatter us, or just seem familiar. As a behavioral psychologist, I'd tie this to our need for social bonds. We trust those who feel like us. In forensic cases, this explains why charismatic con artists like Bernie Madoff get away with so much. They build rapport, mirror your values, and suddenly you're handing over your life savings. In Persuasion, liking is why salespeople compliment you or brands hire relatable influencers. Similarity is key. We're swayed by people who share our hobbies, hometown, or even our name. Ever notice how politicians kiss babies or wear local sports jerseys? They're banking on you liking them. Example, in a negotiation study, participants who spent a few minutes chatting about shared interests before bargaining were 50% more likely to reach a deal. A little likability goes a long way. 6. Scarcity, wanting what's rare. Nothing makes us want something more than thinking it's about to disappear. Scarcity taps into our fear of missing out, FOMO, driving us to act fast. As a behavioral psychologist, I'd say it's tied to our survival instinct. Scarce resources like food or shelter were worth fighting for in ancient times. In forensic contexts, scarcity can explain panic-driven crimes like looting during a crisis, or why people join exclusive groups, think cults or secret societies that promise rare knowledge. Marketers use this ruthlessly. Only 3 left in stock, or sale ends tonight, creates urgency that clouds judgment. Example, when British Airways announced they discontinue their Concorde flights, ticket sales skyrocketed the next day. Nothing changed about the flight except it became scarce and suddenly everyone wanted a seat. The dark side in ethics. As a forensic psychologist, I must highlight the flip side. Persuasion can slide into manipulation. These principles are neutral tools, but in the wrong hands, think cult leaders, scammers, or propagandists, they can exploit vulnerabilities. Reciprocity can trap victims in cycles of obligation. Authority can silence dissent. Scarcity can spark irrational choices. Understanding these principles empowers you to spot manipulation and resist it like a mental shield. As a behavioral psychologist, I'd urge ethical use. Persuasion should build trust, not betray it. Whether you're a marketer, leader, or friend, wielding these principles with integrity means respecting people's autonomy while guiding them. Why this matters: these 6 principles, reciprocity, commitment, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity, are like the DNA of influence, shaping everything from courtroom confessions to TikTok trends. They're universal because they tap into human nature, our need to belong, to trust, to survive. As a psychologist, I find them endlessly fascinating because they reveal how predictable yet complex we humans are. Want to explore how these principles play out in a specific scenario, like a courtroom, a marketing campaign, or even a cult? Or would you like tips on using them ethically in your own life? Let me know, and we'll keep unraveling the psychology of persuasion.